Hey, YouTube.
It's Hate Week, Part 2.
Big T's here.
We got rid of Kayce and Katie. They'll be back next week. We didn't actually get rid of them. I just wanted somebody I could really, truly hate. Big T.
Look at this guy. Yep.
Imagine a more hateable face.
Anyways, like, subscribe, comment. Actually, no, don't do that because we hate you this week.
No. The last time I think some actually did unsubscribe.
Oh, damn. I didn't notice that in the numbers.
Join the hate with us.
Okay, yeah, join. Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and watch. I like the beard.
Thank you.
And the beard's orange.
I know. Which my hair isn't.
No, your hair's not.
So I don't necessarily love it.
No, it works.
It looks. I think it looks better than no beard, so I'm gonna keep.
No, it looks a lot better than no beard.
No,
Thank you.
Both me and you don't have great faces.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it also makes me look a little bit skinnier.
Hair, but I think it just makes you look old.
I think it makes. That's what many people have said. Yeah.
It's
just small people. Just I said that.
No.
Him being a mini person.
You called him a full person today.
Got it.
Who did?
You called him a full person today.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, you were like, I sent only one person up to pick up all the.
Yeah.
That would have been a prime opportunity for you to say, and he's not even a full person, but you didn't.
Well, it was looking bad because we had a wheel to see who would go get the food for the show.
And it was
the one black guy in the room.
And it was also
No. All right, y'all good?
Yep, we got the high noon. We're ready to
Did you bring your list of hate? I noticed you didn't write it down. Oh, it's on your phone.
Buddy,
okay,
it's
all right.
2022.
All right.
How
many?
I saw a name on there. That's going to be good.
Really?
I don't want to ruin it.
Before we get started, I'll start the show.
We should do a check-in with him.
Yeah, he's here.
No, I mean like
every week.
No, 2022 Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh well, I assume
it will come up.
If right. I assume. Listen, this guy thinks they're winning 10 games.
I don't.
He thinks they're finishing second in the East.
I do.
Hi, welcome to Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast, brought to you by. Get your fucking hand up. High Noon Hard Seltzer. This is the pool pack. We got the peach, the kiwi, the guava, the lime. I guess we're getting close to football season, which means we won't be at the pool very much. But you know what? Why don't we just take a pen out, and where it says pool pack, I'm just going to scratch it out, and I'm going to call it the tailgate pack.
Yep.
The tailgate pack.
High Noon Big T?
Of course he does. Okay. Yes. As much women as he gets, he's always got High Noon for the ladies out, right?
Just one.
He's
just one High Noon. That's all it takes for you?
No, he has a girlfriend.
No, I understand. I was messing with him. Yeah, me and Big T mess with each other.
I met her once.
Yeah, we're cool.
Randomly.
How was she?
Well, it was in a park, kind of, I would say.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, we were just walking, and there was Jack Mack.
People be walking. Yep. People be walking in the city.
They do.
You can't stop a person from walking. I guess you could.
They'll yell at you.
Well, yeah, they'll yell at you quick here. This time of year, I just want to be back down south. Don't you want to be
with
in
your High Noons tailgate?
Don't you want to be in Neyland Stadium in a couple of weeks?
I do.
Are you going to be?
We got our travel booked today.
Who we? Oh yeah. You guys are tight with Hendon Hooker, aren't you?
Yeah. Tyler Barron.
What game?
Florida.
Say Tyler Perry?
Tyler Barron.
Oh, Tyler Barron. Oh, I just thought you were going with Medea.
Whole company's going to be at that game.
Except for me.
And me.
You won't be there?
Oh, I think you're spoiling something, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right.
Oh, I can't say that.
Yeah, maybe relax.
Cut that part. Yeah. Cut that.
Well, just talk to him.
Cut that, Jeff.
But he's not cutting any of this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to cut that.
We're good. We're fine.
Inside scoop for the listeners.
Mm-hmm. If you listen to the ads.
The entire company will be there except for me.
Also, not that hard to figure out where we're going to be going in a given year.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to sportsbook states. If we're not going to any Georgia games. We're not, stuff like that.
Illegal gambling.
All right. It is Unnecessary Roughness. It is Hate Week Part 2. We are finishing up Hate Week. For the first time ever, we're having 2 episodes of Hate Week. Now, this is not Casey Smith. This is Big T. Hello, Big T.
Hello, Brandon.
See, the way you have that attitude already, I can tell this is going to go off the rails. Also,
you're the only
when
one.
you got here today, you had not been given instructions that you're going to be on Unnecessary Roughness. You just wore the Tennessee shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a UT polo, and I mean, the hat goes.
The Braves are in a pennant race right now. Why wouldn't you wear Braves?
I wore Brave stuff yesterday.
They're playing the Mets tonight.
I know.
Well, it's
they
ground,
lost.
So.
They lost. He knows they're going
to.
No. Okay.
I'm going to a concert at Citi Field, and I'm going to go change and put on a Braves.
What are you going to see?
Zach Brown Band.
Tonight at Citi Field?
Yeah.
Have fun.
Shit.
I have 2 extra tickets. You want to go?
I'm on the shore right now. I gotta get. It takes me a couple hours to get back.
Gotcha.
I would if this were last week and my family wasn't here. I would go in a
Toby
heartbeat.
Johnson too.
I don't know who that is. A little bit of chicken fried, cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and my radio up. So it is hate week. That is the nicest we will be to each other all day, because if there is one fan base that is obnoxious and unruly and just plain dumb on Twitter, it's Arkansas.
Georgia.
But close to
We have
Arkansas,
the same idea.
close to Arkansas, between Arkansas and Georgia, kind of geographically, is Tennessee, and they are also obnoxious. I'll tell you what, and I've said this before, you guys are very, very obnoxious on Twitter, one of the most obnoxious, but you're not dumb. Like a Tennessee fan will give you clever retorts. They'll dig at you. Like an Arkansas fan will come back at you and just say, "Oh, well, you're stupid," and they'll just say dumb shit.
They're very dumb people.
They're very dumb people. Yeah. Georgia fans will just say something like, they'll look at the recruiting rankings or something.
They literally bark.
Yeah, but Tennessee fans will get into. Now, there's some dumb Tennessee fans, but overall, you guys do one thing that annoys me. You want to be the most obnoxious fans on Twitter.
Yeah,
we
take the fun out of it for you.
Right, but you want to be known as that.
Yeah.
You take pride in that. You and Florida State both believe you're the most obnoxious fans, and you try to act to you're kind of posing a little bit.
No, I think it's mostly real. It's just like we've embraced that we will always be disliked, so you may as well just go all in on it.
Well, the orange is ugly.
It's a beautiful color.
Phil Fulmer was a cheater and a snitch.
Kind of a asshole too, if you really think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, he
terrific ass. And then
usurped his.
And then you guys let Clay Travis run a good man out of there, good coach.
No, that wasn't Clay Travis. That was everyone, and he's not a good man nor a good coach.
Come on, he's a fine coach and a fine man. You don't know him.
How's he doing right now?
He's at Rutgers.
How's he doing?
How are you guys
had
doing?
Them rolling before.
How are you guys doing?
Fine.
You guys lost a bowl last year, same as he did. You're in the same spot.
Yeah, same spot, sure.
How are you not in the same spot?
How'd they get to a bowl game?
By being smart, being high on the academic rankings, which I can't accuse you guys of being.
Okay, well, we made it on football merit.
Barely.
Sure.
Barely.
And lost is...
Who won the game, Purdue or Tennessee?
Well, are you looking at the record books or what happened in the game?
I'm looking at what happens in the game. You know what? We're bogged down. We're bogged down. It's hate week. Yeah. I don't hate anybody more than I hate you. And you're going to be here. We did hate week the other day. We're going to do. We're going to talk about the Big Ten TV deal, and then we're going to talk about a decommitment that happened that I want to talk about, and then Paul Finebaum had a take on Notre Dame that I would like to discuss. Those are my 3 things we're going to talk about before we get into my list of things. The other day I just ranted on teams I hate. What I hate about them. Today I'll be ranting on in-game hate. What I hate that happens inside of a football game. Okay. Not a fan base, not a message board, but what happens on the field in a game that I hate in college football.
Perfect.
I have invited him to bring the 5 teams that he hates the most.
That aren't his rival.
That aren't your rival, which you pretend is Alabama.
Well, I excluded Alabama, Florida, and Georgia from that.
Because you took all 3 rivals out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kept one.
Vanderbilt, who's very close to you guys.
It's Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay. All right. There's some heat between you guys and Kentucky.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in recent. Yeah. And you guys have some good points. You also have some bad points.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that.
Crosses over the basketball too a lot.
Your 5 teams that you hate will be coming up soon, and I will riff off that as well. And we put out a tweet. Yes. We let the Roughnecks decide who you hate the most, and I'm going to read those as well. Before we get started, Hate Week is a mindset. It is a belief system. It is a way of life. Hate is not. This isn't something. I'm not going to go to Tennessee and graffiti on the walls. Fuck Tennessee. But in the sports sense, I hate Tennessee. It's fun hate. But we do this every year, one week. And then the other day, we put out a clip of me just, barbecuing Jimbo Fisher.
Yep.
Some fans just can't handle Hate Week.
They cannot.
Some of the comments just just can't handle it. And
Florida fans were really mad.
Oklahoma fans were like, there goes Kayce talking about us again. Yeah, we talked about everybody else. I didn't see the Florida fans that were so mad. What were they mad about?
They were more mad at Kayce because she said the swamp sucks.
I disagree with her, but what do you think about the swamp?
I haven't been.
So anything that comes out of your mouth now doesn't matter.
But I dislike them strongly, so I dislike everything about them.
You believe
strongly.
you would probably dislike it in the Swamp.
Yeah.
I've been to the Swamp, and I've been to New England. They're both good stadiums. I think they're both top 5 stadiums in the SEC. So it's Georgia and Alabama whose programs are a lot better than their stadiums.
Yeah. Sanford Stadium sucks.
It sucks.
And their fans,
it's quiet as fuck.
Their fans will tell you that too. They play music that's
Yeah.
from like the 80s, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not. It's big, but it doesn't feel very big.
It doesn't feel
It's
like you're.
90, I think.
It feels like you're. It feels like you're at a giant high school game.
It
doesn't feel like a college football game. And I don't know why. I like everything about like Athens on the day of a game, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But you get in that stadium and you're like, where's the spectacle? Where's the feeling? Because at LSU, at Florida, at Tennessee, there's feeling, there's spectacle, there's life. Alabama doesn't have life either. I don't know if you've ever been to Bryant-Denny. It doesn't have life either. It's just like a business meeting.
Well, because they're so far gone now that if there's no possibility of them ever losing a game, and if it is, it's the end of the world.
They go dead quiet too.
They don't get happy to win.
And what? That's got to be the best place in the world and the worst.
Yeah,
I would like to be there.
I've said forever I would never want to be like.
I would like to be that. Yeah, I would like. I won't try it. I won't try it out.
I genuinely wouldn't.
It's like saying the people that are very richest or the least happy. Yeah, well, give me the money. Let me see.
Right.
Let me try that out.
But when you've done it for so long, and it's just like if you lose 2 games, it's a horrible season. Like that's not fun.
If a guy only dates supermodels, he's just numb to good-looking women. Like, give me a month. Let me
fun
just
for
see.
The first 5 years, and then after that, I feel like it would get.
It looks pretty fun sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
I would love to get there for a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So the biggest story in college football right now happened off the field. I gotta say, the Big Ten's looking like roses right now. They're smelling like roses.
Speaking of roses, bringing in the USC and UCLA, I think.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to have massive ramifications.
The Big Ten signed the biggest media deal in the history of college sports or the history of sports?
College sports.
College sports. They signed the biggest deal in the history of college sports today when they signed a 7-year deal with a media package with Fox, CBS, NBC, Peacock, others.
Yep.
They signed a deal for the next 7 years until 2030. It's worth about $7 billion on the surface, but you look at some incentives and some numbers, it can get up to as high as $10 billion a year.
No, total. It's $1 billion a year.
Right now, it's around $1 billion a year. It
Excuse
can
me,
get a
$10
little
billion.
bit higher.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. My bad.
And that's why there's a belief right now.
But $10 billion.
Correct.
$10 billion. It could be $10 billion. Now, the Big Ten kind of fleeced the SEC in one way here. Greg Sankey's he's done great, and they got a good deal with ESPN. But now, Big Ten waited, and they went after the SEC, and they got this deal. Okay? But they made it a 7-year deal. The SEC's deal with ESPN is 10 years. So when the ESPN and the SEC start their deal next year, they won't be able to renegotiate a rights deal for 10 years. Big Ten's going to get this one, and in 2030, get right back to the table before the SEC.
Mike Trout did the 7-year.
They're getting to the table before the SEC. They're going to get the next 2 biggest deals.
The crazy thing, I don't know how the contracts are going to potentially ruin this, but I think Greg Sankey and the SEC offices are seeing this.
Yeah.
Coaches, head boosters and whatnot, and saying, "All right,
yeah,
now it's time to get real." All right, Clemson, all right.
This is a direct challenge to the supremacy of the SEC.
And I think the SEC is looking at this like, wait a second, we're getting clowned on right now a little bit, and this shouldn't be happening because we have the best football conference.
Right.
But I don't know. Does this mean they're going to be like, hey, we need to take over? Get the riches from the haves from the ACC and take over. But I think the biggest, and this would be someone that knows sports business to the T, but I think the biggest deal here is that the Big Ten has that California market.
Yeah.
And that's probably what expands them to a much bigger audience in terms of just numbers.
And it's fascinating because the Big Ten is not, they're no longer content to own that noon slot, which they've done with great success over the last couple of years. They're going to have Fox at noon. Then they're going to have CBS, major national game there at 3:30, and then they're going to have an NBC. There's so many fascinating levels here. NBC primetime game, which NBC could program with a Notre Dame doubleheader.
Yes.
They have Notre Dame at 3:30 at home, and then they can have a Big Ten game at night. Huge. NBC is suddenly a player in college football
And then
again.
the people that are watching the Notre Dame game will roll over into the Big Ten
I
game.
think this is a bridge to Notre Dame eventually joining the Big Ten. I
Okay.
think the money involved. USC is going to be getting the money. That's a rival of Notre Dame. Like the money involved. NBC is going to have a handshake with Notre Dame, a handshake with the Big Ten. Notre Dame's going to eventually say, "Listen, we have a sweetheart deal, but fuck, that's a lot
And
of
then
money."
think about how much more money is going to be with Notre Dame in the
Right?
next
How
7
much
years.
when they come in 7 years? You take the next 7 years as a tryout, and NBC.
What do
and
you
we're
think
shaking
college
hands.
football looks like in 7 years?
You know what? 7 years ago, I never would have guessed
Yeah.
any of this.
I know, yeah.
I never would have guessed any of this. So I think it's all for the better. I think
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
thinks change is bad, but listen, college football is making more money than ever before. It is getting more eyeballs than ever before. Eventually, we're heading towards a playoff. That's going to be happening. We've already got this thing where NBC, CBS, and Fox are going to be rotating the Big Ten championship game. Well, that's exactly the model we're going to need for a playoff.
Yeah.
It's exactly the model we're going to need because you're not going to want ESPN to have the playoff championship every year. That's the model we're headed
And it
for.
goes to show that all of these networks, no one's punting on college football because they
No.
see how valuable
Everybody
it is.
wants in.
Everybody wants in. And I think that's probably because the only valuable live
Yeah.
programming anymore
Is
is
sports.
sports.
It's the only valuable programming on linear TV, period.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that if we didn't go to an Apple TV here, so we're
Yeah, I
not going
think
to have
that's
the
good, too.
streaming issues yet. So
There'll be
I-
some Peacock, but there was ESPN Plus, so
yeah, I don't mind Peacock because Peacock's not getting the marquee games. Peacock's where you're going to watch Beth Mowins on a Saturday at
Yes.
11.
Well, until they do put one on there because
Yes.
they want you to
The only
sign
thing
up
is
for
we-
Peacock.
Oh, I'm already signed up for Peacock. It has the WWE Network.
we are because it has EPL
Soccer.
Yeah.
but sometimes the EPL Peacock's had its issues, but
Peacock ain't bad.
There was that one Saturday last
Yes,
year.
it didn't
Everyone
work.
turned it on, and there was just the soccer games weren't
But
there.
hold
That's
Absolutely.
fine, but Peacock ain't bad. Peacock, you can
No,
be
it's
watching
good.
wrestling or your soccer, and then all of a sudden, I want to watch that episode in Parks and Rec where they go to 2 bachelor parties.
you're not wrong.
Yeah, so I like Peacock, but huge deal for the Big Ten, and boy, what a comeback story for Kevin Warren.
Yeah.
2 years ago, he's the first to cancel the season.
Yes.
Nobody likes him. It's a crisis of leadership.
People are writing him letters that they want to kill him.
Now we're coming back 2 years later, and he just has overseen the biggest rights deal in college history. That's gigantic.
Yeah, outside of the NFL, I think it's
And I believe in trickle down economics. People think the ACC, the Big 12, the Pac-12 are doomed. I don't think so. I think if 1 and 2 are getting these gigantic deals, there's going to be a structure for these other teams to get deals.
I mean, how much are they like? Bama already pays Arkansas State $1.2 million to play them.
Jesus.
How much is Ohio State going to pay Akron to play them in 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, it's gonna
be a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, the landscape changed. I will say this: I was watching today, and some of the tweets were about the CBS theme, and the highlight video they put out of Big Ten highlights with that song. It didn't bother me. Did it bother you? Da, da, da,
It doesn't bother me as
I'm
much
just
as
glad the
it-
song still.
like Big Cat came in and he was humming it,
Yeah.
and I was like, do you want that as a Big Ten fan? It feels to me
I think
as
you
if
want it, yeah.
You're getting the sloppy second.
Well, now listen. There's a pettiness.
That's our song.
There's a pettiness to it, though. Like the Big Ten and the SEC are fighting for 1 and 2. Big Ten fans and SEC fans are fighting for a little bit. Anytime anybody can take a little swipe at the SEC, take their song, take their network, take this, it comes off as good. So yeah, I don't mind that. But Sankey, I swear to God, you better get to fucking work. You better go get our money. You better go get our money.
Because the SEC signed their deal before Texas and Oklahoma joined.
Yes,
So-
I think. Yeah, this is one of those things I wish someone was here that was like really one of those random guys you follow on Twitter that's really entrenched in it and can really break it down. And where did the SEC go wrong? Is it just because how the cards fell, how they signed a contract 10, 15 years ago?
Nobody could have seen this coming. Like CBS declined the SEC option a couple years. They could have had, I think, the SEC 330 game for like $65 million.
No. That's what ESPN bought for $300. CBS was paying $55 a year, which is the greatest deal in the history of
Oh,
sports.
it really was. Golly.
So they had that.
But didn't they bow out at 65? They didn't want to go over 65. I saw that number.
Possibly,
Yeah.
Which, but I don't know if it would have been that. 'cause
But
then
now they're
ESPN wouldn't
paying
pay that much.
Now
but-
they're paying $350 for
correct
the second best game at best
of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
right. So they could have just held on to what they already had, but Yeah, the deal they had with the SEC currently was the best thing anybody's ever
I think
had.
it's great. The more good college football available for everybody, and I hope and I'm sure now the Big Ten will be very intentional in their schedule throughout 1 through 12, where they'll make sure we have. And the Big Ten's good about this anyway. The Big Ten will make sure we have marquee games every week.
Yeah.
And the Big Ten does that more than the SEC now because they have a couple like Penn State Purdue is an opener.
Yep.
They do conference openers a
Instead
lot
of having
more
that
often
on
than
a
we
random
do.
October or Saturday.
We don't have any conference openers this year, do we? The SEC.
I don't believe so.
No, I usually you can count on like South Carolina playing A&M or
I think
something.
Florida plays Kentucky week
2. Yeah, that might be it.
The other thing I was going to mention about TV that Big Cat tweeted today that I've always been a proponent of, these networks do a draft of the college football games.
Yeah,
that
we
air
want to
them.
see the draft. Yeah,
Put that on. I would watch that long before I'd watch like the NFL draft.
I would watch the shit out of that draft.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be like in the crowd. I would love that.
CBS Fox has the number 1 pick,
Yeah.
and then CBS goes, and that'd be awesome.
Because it's not foolproof. Like
Yeah.
they might pick Ohio State, Purdue. Like okay, well we got one big market, and then the other one CBS fucks around, gets Michigan State, Michigan. So I don't know. I like the draft.
All right, Brandon, sorry to interrupt you,
Yep.
but we do need a word right now from our sponsor,
With all this hate going on,
BetterHelp.
let's clear our head.
All
let's
right.
let's get the help that we need.
And there's no one I know better to help us than a longtime sponsor of the program, BetterHelp.
Yep.
BetterHelp is there to help you with if you are feeling down, maybe life's tough sometimes.
If your team's not as good as they
If
used to
your
be,
team's
like
not-
in
yeah.
the 90s.
Or your girlfriend won't text you back. She's in Miami for the weekend. But there's plenty of
Everything
ways
okay,
to support
You good?
There's plenty of ways to support a healthy brain, like learning a new language or taking power naps. There's also BetterHelp online therapy. I know that some of the people in the office have used it, and they have used it with much great success because you can do it online.
And we got some people in this office that need some help.
Oh yeah, we
they-
have like a
Everyone
better.
needs help from time to time, Brandon.
Shut
Yes,
up, Big T.
we do.
But you're right.
We have a BetterHelp Barstool plan or something that if we need our help,
Yeah.
BetterHelp's there and we get a discount. And
But
we're-
it takes the stigma out of getting therapy, right?
Yeah, because it's online therapy that offers
Yeah.
video, phone, and even live chat only therapy sessions. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
Right.
So let's say you just want to talk to somebody or even chat.
Yeah.
And it's much more affordable than in-person therapy, which is huge. And you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And our listeners, we get a discount, but our listeners are going to get a discount of 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Smith. Casey's not here.
That makes
but
sense.
That's BetterHelp.com/Smith.
Keon Keeley is a 5-star defensive end from Florida.
Yes.
He was committed to Notre Dame. He decommitted yesterday, and even if you don't know the story, I'm just going to give you guesses on who we think leads for him in recruiting.
I have not heard this name. Maybe Texas A&M.
Alabama.
Okay.
So
That checks out.
he decommitted from Notre Dame. Looks like he's headed to Alabama. This is hate week. So what I'm about to say it, and I don't care if it bothers anybody, but I will say one thing to Alabama fans. It is Nick Saban's job to get as many top-flight players as possible. His job is to win games, get the best players, do all that. He does that. He's a killer. They have whatever network they got set up, and they get the players. I'm so goddamn tired of every fucking 5-star just going to Alabama and just going and becoming another guy. Do you realize, as a college football fan, how special it would be if somebody came and rose up and became a legend at Notre Dame or became a playoff winner at Notre Dame or just changed the culture at somewhere that needs it, like a Tennessee?
You know who you're describing?
Who?
Nico Iamaleava.
I'm not. Anyway,
You don't know it yet.
but do you realize how much more interesting that is as a consumer in the sport? Alabama getting every single player they ever want is so goddamn boring and hamstrings the sport so goddamn much. Now, this Keon Keeley doesn't owe me anything, doesn't owe me a goddamn thing. He owes it to himself to go to the NFL, to make a lot of money, and he believes probably the path is to go to Alabama. And I'm not sure he's all that wrong, but God damn it. Can we get a little bit of variation on where we go? Like, if you go to Notre Dame and you become a defensive player of the year, you're a legend forever. If you go to Alabama the next 3 years as a defensive end, they're just going to say you're the guy behind that came after Will Anderson. And if you're not as good as him, you're a bust. You're setting yourself. I just don't understand why these guys keep going into these systems. when you are so good, you can succeed anywhere. Wow, it's frustrating. That's all. I understand it because they see dollar signs.
Right, you're viewing it through the lens of
Correct.
college football, which they don't care about.
Correct.
They care about going to the NFL.
And they could care about money.
Correct.
Which is what I would care about too. But goddamn it, I'm so goddamn tired of Alabama. I'm tired of Alabama. Retire.
Yeah.
When does he retire?
2040.
I kind of think
The first 90-year-old coach in the history of college football.
Do you believe the story that he almost retired in 2013 or 14?
No,
whatever it was?
No, I believe he maybe got close to going to Texas once, but I don't believe.
Yeah, I
think
believe
that did almost happen.
Yeah, but I don't think he has retirement in.
But that was the same offseason. Does that not kind of lend itself to the fact that he was looking for a way out of Alabama?
If there was anything that happened, I bet he had some issues with the boosters. They weren't giving him enough money, and he was like, "Hey, these guys down in Texas will give me anything I want tomorrow."
Yeah.
And hey, and if so, if you're not going to give me that, I may even just go to ESPN. That gets reported to a guy that puts it in a book. Like, why is the guy that is one of the most competitive guys we've ever seen in college football history, and is still going to go for another 5 to 10 years? He was going to just walk away after 2012, after a devastating, or 2013, after a devastating defeat. I don't buy it.
Can I say one more thing? I got Alabama fans in my DMs the other day when I said, I'm sure Dabo will be the first call Alabama makes because he's the second best coach in the country. I got Alabama fans, they think they're above Dabo. It's the weirdest thing. They DM me and like, Dabo wouldn't even be in my top 10 guys of people I'd want. What the fuck are you talking about?
Who else would they look
at? They say Lane Kiffin. They say
Kirby.
Yeah,
Kirby went to Georgia.
They ain't getting Kirby though. They ain't getting Kirby.
Yeah, he's not leaving.
They're getting Dabo.
Yeah,
They're getting Dabo. That's who the next coach of Alabama is.
You know what Travis said? He said, "Nah, I want Lane Kiffin."
I got to tell you, Kiffin, if he
Dabo has built a national title contender or winner.
Let's see what they do this year.
All right.
Spoiler alert: they're going to be pretty fucking good.
I think they'll be good.
Have you seen that defense, dude?
I have not done much research into Clemson this year.
You should.
The
They may have
best
5 top 10 picks on their defense.
Might be the best defensive line in the last 10 years.
And then they have a
better than Georgia.
Yes,
defensive line wise, yes.
they have 3 5-stars that are disgusting.
Maybe not across the entire defense better than Georgia. That's the
Just
best
the
defense
line.
in the last 20 years.
But I think it's
up front, they got
Breesy.
Brian Breesy and Miles Murphy
and then Xavier Henry or Thomas, the guy who's the #1 recruit in 2019. And then they have a really good linebacker and safety. And then the cornerbacks are all 5 stars too. So it's like
the one other thing I wanted to bring up, that book we were talking about. Did you see the story that was also in there about Pruitt and Saban and Zaxby's?
Oh no, go on.
I did not. Yeah, but go on. Yes.
They were on a recruiting trip and they were looking for somewhere to eat.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Pruitt said, "Why don't we go to Zaxby's?" And Saban didn't know what Zaxby's was. And Pruitt described it to him as a Chick-fil-A but classier.
Okay.
Did they go?
I don't know. That's the.
I love the idea of I love everything about that story. I love Jeremy Pruitt wanting to eat his Zaxby's.
Yep.
I love Saban not knowing what Zaxby's was.
How is that possible?
If you're in the South, even if you don't eat there, you can't drive through Tuscaloosa without hitting a Zaxby's on every corner.
Also,
they're like Starbucks in Mississippi and Alabama.
And he's around college students all the time.
Yeah.
They probably have Zaxby's bags.
Oh, what, you a big Zaxby's guy?
Oh yeah.
Zaxby's to me is so average.
He doesn't. You don't. Didn't you get? Oh no.
More of a Raising
Megan
Cane's
Money got food poisoning at.
Who cares?
Zaxby's rocks. One night out recruiting, Pruitt and Saban are looking to get some food. Pruitt suggests Zaxby's. Saban looks at Pruitt and says, "What the fuck is a Zaxby's?"
I love to just watch a reality show of Saban and his defensive coordinator recruiting.
Not to shout out an old person that worked here before, but I wouldn't mind seeing Joey Molinaro do the Saban impression, saying, "What the fuck is a Zaxby's?"
So now Pruitt, a man who famously didn't know what asparagus was on national TV, decides on, quote, "It's like a classier Chick-fil-A, coach."
The funny thing is it's absolutely not a classier Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Right. But I just like the idea of Jeremy Pruitt just never eating anything nicer than a Zaxby's.
Yeah.
Zaxby's perfectly fits Jeremy Pruitt's personality.
But I think it probably fits a lot of coaches.
Yes.
Yeah. I like chicken tenders and fries, and let me get back to film work.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
And how can you beat Zaxby's?
You know what I also loved last week when Mintz was on one of his 27 vacations, and he took a picture of Jeremy Pruitt in the World Series of Poker Cherokee, and he took it from 30 feet behind him.
And it was just
the back of his head. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Jeremy Pruitt, y'all. And it's just, Is that him?
Are we sure?
Right.
It was the Stephen A. Smith meme. Look at this. IMG.427G.
And Paul Finebaum. Listen, I have no room to say somebody's saying something just for effect. I have no room to do all that. And Paul Finebaum, to me, I don't hate on Paul Finebaum. I don't know that he's very good. He just, timing helped him get to where he is. But he is what he is, right? He's a big deal in football. And he had
ESPN loves him.
he had a take. He just thinks it's ridiculous and crazy and stupid that Notre Dame is ranked in the top 10 and they're overrated as always. And to me, this is just such a lazy, uninformed take to appeal to his base. Like I know everybody in the South, a lot of people in the South hate Notre Dame. I never hated them, but old Alabama fans, old Georgia fans, they love to hate on Notre Dame. So Paul Finebaum's like, they're overrated, they stink, this is an embarrassment, yada, yada, yada. When are people going to wake up? And I don't know what you think about this, but Notre Dame is a very, very remarkably solid program. They absolutely deserve to be top 10 this year. I think they're overrated at 5, but top 10, I mean, 8, 9, or 10, that seems fine to me.
Yeah, I mean, they were a win away from going to the playoff.
And they've been in the playoff twice in the last 4 years. This is a 5
Over
years.
the past 5 years, 54-10, and their losses are all to top tier teams.
Notre Dame's been fantastic.
And Cincinnati.
Notre Dame hasn't been Alabama. Well, Cincinnati made the playoff.
They made the playoff.
Yeah, because we finally had to put one in so that everybody would shut the
Cincinnati
fuck up about it.
Cincinnati played Alabama just as good as anybody else.
That's fine.
Outside of Georgia.
We'll get to this later.
Oh,
You hate Cincinnati?
We'll get to it later.
Oh my God!
We'll see.
This guy.
This fucking guy. You know why? I know what it is. Because they hired recently. They hired Heupel, and he wants to be excited about Heupel, and he knows Fickle's just sitting there. You wanted to hire Fickle deep down, didn't you?
You'll see when we get
Would
to this.
you trade Josh Heupel for
No.
Luke Fickle tonight?
No.
You're so stupid.
No.
Of course you would.
No, I wouldn't.
Luke Fickle took Cincinnati to the playoff, and you take Josh Heupel?
They had very good players.
Who got him there?
Listen, I'm not trading Josh Heupel.
Josh Heupel went 7-6, and you guys act like you're back.
From 7-6 from 3-7.
Also,
that 7-6 was very different than the numbers indicating. You know that.
No, 7-6 is hey.
That could have been
You're
nice.
preaching to the choir here, buddy.
We've done this before.
You're preaching
but
to the choir
the
here.
Purdue game was fraudulent. Ole Miss, they just took a touchdown off the board because they decided
Pittsburgh was fraudulent too. They forget.
Pittsburgh, the first down nobody talks about. Yeah, I mean
that Ole Miss thing is still remarkable to me.
It's one of the. It's the most unbelievable thing.
They
I've ever
went
seen
back
on a
and
football
called
game.
his progress down after they let the play go on. So you didn't do the thing you said you did.
And it wasn't even forward progress. He never moved. They were just like, oh, he didn't think the play was going on, so we can't count it. That's not our problem.
That's not how football works.
Not how
That's
football
not
works.
how it works.
Okay. So we're going to do my hate list of things that happen inside a game. And then we're going to do your hate list, and then we'll do the Roughnecks hate list. Okay?
That's good.
All right. Again, Katie and Kayce not here. Katie gone to a wedding. Kayce gone to Rough and Rowdy in West Virginia, so she's a company gal. So,
You hate anything about Marshall or West Virginia on the topic of Rough and Rowdy?
West Virginia, I've never really hated.
I mean, they made my life hell as a kid because they were in the Big East and it was Pat White's Slayton.
I can't really think of programs that I don't have a lot of hate for, but I think South Carolina, I've never really had a reason to hate them. I've never hated West Virginia.
South Carolina is about to get really annoying. If South
Carolina
Carolina
is about to get really annoying.
If they go like 8-4 this year,
because they are hot on Shane Beamer,
and they're hot on their program as a whole.
Yeah. But I think they're going to be okay. I think Rattler's going to be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So, who do I not hate? Like some teams, it's hard. Like Oregon State, how do you hate on that?
They're just irrelevant.
It's hard to hate on that. The Arizona schools, what can you hate on?
Oregon, I feel like Oregon is a team that's been very good, but that's likable.
Oregon, no, I'd see Oregon to me is a team that like you need to give me more. Like, you got the uniforms, you got the Nike, you got all that, and all you're giving me is just playoff contention every 5 or 6 years. You need to give me more than that.
Playoff as many times as Notre Dame has, which you were just lauding as.
They have not.
Yes, they have.
They've only been there once, haven't they?
Twice.
2014.
They went to the national championship game against Ohio State, and then they beat the living shit out of. Oh, that Florida State game was the same playoff.
Yep.
That's true. And then they went to the national championship against Auburn, but that was not the playoff. Got it. That's true.
You better bring your big boy pants. All right?
Yep.
You're gonna fucking walk up to me and be like, "Oh, this, that."
This ain't macrodosing
No.
anymore.
This ain't macrodosing.
That's not
boy.
Arian Foster's not going to walk
Nope.
through that door.
He ain't coming.
Thank goodness. I love Arian.
Arian hates Tennessee, right?
No, he just doesn't care.
I think he told me he hated Tennessee.
Did he?
Yeah, he said he hated Tennessee
Well,
fans.
it's the establishment.
He is still bitter about many Tennessee fans who have preyed on his downfall for many years. But he's going back in a few weeks. I'm excited to be there with him. 2 VFLs. Just love the university.
Just love that team, man. I had never when I experienced the power tee on the field last year, them running through the tee. That's pretty cool in person.
That atmosphere, I think that's what, if we beat Pitt and we're 3-0 going into this
that's going to be
game,
insane, yeah.
It's going to be that, maybe even more.
Yeah. I think you're going to beat Pitt, too.
I think so, too. I'm a little more concerned than some Tennessee fans are, but we should win that game.
I think Pitt might start 1-2. I'm not a big believer in Pitt this year. Here's my in-game hate. Things I hate that happen in a game. So this has nothing to do with Alabama or Auburn or any other team, Ohio State, Minnesota. Nothing to do with them. This is just when I'm watching a game, what do I not like? Crying kids. You love it. I've seen you. When something happens, when there's a late touchdown and the cameraman goes and looking for a crying kid, that's bullshit. I don't ever want to see it on TV again.
If it's for a team
that you don't like,
I love crying.
Okay, so if Georgia loses, give you an 8-year-old crying.
There was a crying kid when Kentucky lost to St. Peter's
and
in
you
the
loved
tournament
it
this year. Oh, I was overjoyed.
I don't want to see a crying kid. I just don't want to see it. I don't mind the surrender cobras. Go find them. Go find the girls, the frat girls with the puzzled look on their face. Mm-hmm. Go find the cheerleader from Florida State doing this shit, surprise. But don't give me a crying kid.
If it's 2 teams I don't care about, I'd prefer you to leave the kids out of it. If it's Kentucky, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, teams of that ilk, I want their children crying.
Second thing I hate inside the game, a defensive back is running 3 yards behind a receiver. The quarterback overthrows the receiver, and the defensive back goes,
good for him.
You didn't do that. You didn't build that, sir. Point. You didn't do that. DB celebrations.
Obama.
DB celebrations. DB celebrations.
That was Obama.
DB celebrations are out of control in this country.
Is that staying in?
100%. We've had worse in.
I said it on purpose. Y'all think I did it on accident?
That was funny.
Jesus. Fucking Russian Matt Walsh over here.
Yeah. Matt Walsh.
Let's see.
Didn't expect his name to be brought up during this. I'll tell you that much.
Anyway. One of my most hated things that happens in a game. A long kickoff return immediately nullified by a penalty.
Oh, that's
There's no more exciting play in football than a 95-yard kickoff return, and then that yellow line comes up on and you know what it is, blocking the back or a hold. Imagine baseball. Triple, right? Triple out of the box. People say it's one of the most exciting plays in baseball, which I don't think it is. I think the home run is more exciting. But anyway, the triple, imagine after he gets to third, and the ump's like, nah, come on back.
Conversely,
yeah,
a kickoff return for a touchdown where there's a flag and everybody's like, oh, it's coming back, but it's on the kicking team, and then you get to celebrate again.
Oh, yeah.
That rocks.
Yeah, I don't know that I like that, though, because like if just say it's a normal play from scrimmage, I throw a 35-yard touchdown pass, and then I see flag, I'm thinking, and then it takes my joy away. It takes my joy away, and then they say it's offsides on the defense. I don't get the full joy back.
It's more relief.
I don't get the full joy.
That's fair.
All right. Most teams' 2-point play approaches. Teams get to the 3-yard line to try the 2-point conversion and lose their goddamn minds.
Forget how to play football.
They will score. They will go six plays, 77 yards in a minute and a half and look like the most well-oiled machine. They'll put the ball down and look like they've never called a play in their fucking life.
One-up you. Teams that go up by 21 and then just we're up 21. Let's just change the game plan. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Can I add to that just short yardage shotgun in general?
I don't mind short yardage shotgun. I think that's a myth.
But when it's 100% of the time, like us now, if it's 4th and 1, we are lining up 5 yards.
What's the time difference of taking a snap and giving it to the running back as opposed to going under center, taking it back to the running back? Like time-wise, there's no difference.
Also, I'll say something about these quarterbacks these days. I'm not confident with them under center.
Well, yeah, now they're so used to they don't take snaps under center.
Yep.
I don't. I think that's not from you, but I think it's a lazy take a lot of people have. Oh, it's 4th and 1. Why are we in the shotgun? Well, I tell you what, you could take a quarterback under center, walk it back to the running back, and take just as much time. There's no difference.
I understand why it happens. I just don't love
There's
it.
so many more things that can go wrong. Or maybe not, because the center could have a bad snap.
I hate the camera view at Ohio State University. I don't know why they built the stadium the way they do. The camera at Ohio State University is on top of the stadium, looks
Oklahoma
straight
State
down.
basketball.
It's like a blimp. I do not like it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What are some other stadiums like? Oklahoma State kind of has that.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't a camera angle, but
Cincinnati has that.
when you watch a game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium
Yeah.
in Atlanta,
Yeah.
the field looks, I don't know how to describe it. It looks like
Old? It looks
like they're.
it has a sheen to it.
I don't know if
You're
this
right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It looks like they're playing. You're watching through a refrigerator. Does that make sense to you?
It looks like you're watching through some
When
like
you're at
saran
the
wrap or
stadium?
something.
No, on TV.
Like you're watching through a screen of
Yes.
some sort. Yeah.
It looks like you're looking through the door of a refrigerator.
No, you're right. The
I'm
way
just gonna pull it up.
the way the it's not really green. It's like got a white shine to
I
it.
hate it.
It doesn't. You're right. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Delayed touchdown calls. I don't know why this bothers me. Okay, there's a running back going down the sidelines. Okay, and there's the referee at the corner of the end zone, and the guy scores, and he goes. That's bullshit. If you're listening to the pod, what I did was I pointed, I made sure he wasn't out of bounds, and I said touchdown. Call the touchdown. That 1 second where he hasn't called it, I'm like, what went wrong? What happened? What are you doing?
He's watching games at Mercedes-Benz.
Here's a problem. I don't know if we fixed it yet. Announcers not at the games. Do we still do that at all?
I think the big networks have fixed
They
that.
better not fucking do it this year. The announcers better be at every game.
Do you see what I mean? It just looks.
He's also a Falcons fan, so he sees it more.
No,
than
I know what
Right.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
understand.
Well, buddy, nobody watches the fucking Falcons.
You do.
I try not to.
Okay.
I hate
That
when
said, I will be at Falcons Jets preseason next week.
I hate when team. You'll like this one.
Jets, like I don't want to even.
I hate
buy
when
it.
defenses fake injuries to slow down the offense. Fuck you, Lane Kiffin.
I feel like
Coward.
I feel like I have the fix for this.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
out the rest of the drive.
Right.
You can't come back in for
No,
that drive.
if you fake an injury, we actually get to hurt you. We get to
That's-
hit you in the knee with a hammer.
That's fine too.
Okay.
But the Ole Miss game last year
Was one of the
Tennessee,
most
Ole Miss,
ridiculous things that ever happened.
I mean, it was genuinely like shameful. Like I don't know how he kept doing it with a straight face.
I hate the feeling you get when there's an instant replay with your team and you see early that it's going to go
You
against
know
you.
you're fucked.
You know you're fucked. Like you just scored a touchdown, or no, you just got a fumble. That's the best one. The other team just fumbled and you recovered and you're feeling good, and then you see the replay and then you see the knee down. You're like, you're still going to have to look at it for like 2 minutes before they come back, and you just know the whole world just changed. That's a sinking feeling.
Yep.
It's a shitty feeling. I hate near upsets. There's nothing worse on a Saturday than number two Ohio State is playing Northwestern, and Northwestern's up 20-14 or something. Everybody turn over here, and then something happens. Ohio State escapes with a 24-20 win. Well, that was a waste of our time. I hate near upsets.
Same.
I hate watching top 5 teams escape. I hate that.
Yeah. Or Power 5 teams against
That's
Group
the
of 5 and FCS.
I think Auburn against Jacksonville State a couple years ago.
Jacksonville State, and they had one.
It was
before
one
that
just
with,
a couple. It was Georgia State.
It was Georgia
No.
State last year.
Yeah.
And then it was either Jackson. I thought they had one with like UL Monroe.
Florida.
Auburn just escaped last year.
Florida almost lost to Sanford last year.
Yeah.
Sanford.
Well, they gave up
Who did
50
Florida
points.
Who did Florida have a walk-off return against? There was a nobody. Like a lot.
Florida. Auburn had.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, Auburn beat Georgia State barely last year.
If you ever go to the
A team that
games, I hate
despise.
the man in the red hat.
The timing guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
guy controls the whole universe.
I'll tell you the one thing I won't miss about the SEC on CBS.
Yeah.
When you're playing a CBS game and it's 94 degrees
Right.
at 3:30, and you see that guy come out and he holds up 4 minutes,
Right, yeah.
and you know that they're gone. You
Yeah.
you can go get a drink, go piss, do whatever you need to do. You come back, they will still be in that.
4
time.
minutes is a long time when your adrenaline's going in a football
Yeah.
game. Let's see.
Those commercial breaks are longer than every network. I don't know how they do it, but they are.
Let's see. Announcer's not a game. Delayed touchdown calls. The one guy standing up when there's a long touchdown run. The one guy in the crowd doing this. And
good one.
I don't like him.
Good.
Let's see. Long kickoff return wiped out. DB celebrations. Overusing crowd shots. It happens mostly at Auburn. I don't know why we have to see the Auburn crowd so much.
They do love showing the Auburn
They
crowd.
love showing the Auburn crowd.
It would be like first down. All right, let's go to the Auburn
Yeah,
crowd.
let's go to the Auburn. The douchebags in orange ties.
Yeah.
Girls in
And
dresses.
then with the pom-poms.
I guess that's it. Jack, it's football season.
Yes, it is.
We are right there.
Yep.
And when there's a big Saturday coming up, or you're getting ready for the game, or you're watching all your highlights or whatever, you don't have time to run around and go to a restaurant. You don't have time to go to a grocery store with all the lines. No. You want good food. You want fresh food. You want delicious food. You want it at home, and you want it quick. Did I nail those 5?
Yes, you did. And who's going to help us do that?
HelloFresh.
HelloFresh offers 55 plus weekly options to take the stress out of meal planning and prepping. From family-friendly, Brandon has a family, to fit and wholesome, which I'm trying to be. HelloFresh has tasty and nutritious meals that everyone will enjoy. HelloFresh quick and easy recipes, 20-minute meals.
They send you a box.
Yep.
You open the box. There's freshly packed ingredients that are just delicious. There's a card. You read the card, and you're going to follow that recipe for 30 minutes or less. Bang, delicious food.
And guess what? Everyone here at Barstool at Unnecessary Roughness has used HelloFresh, and we've all loved it. I loved it a lot. I'm even paying for it myself.
I love their sloppy joes.
And you know what I do? I go to HelloFresh.com/Walker16 and use code Walker16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts.
Yay.
That's right. Go to HelloFresh.com/Walker16 and use code Walker16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts.
Do it.
Do it now.
HelloFresh. Now, I told you to bring your list of the teams you hate the most that aren't your rivals.
So I took this from Jack's tweet as this can be fan base, team,
Can
coach,
be anything
the
you
whole
want. Yeah.
deal. So I already mentioned Kentucky. They are the first one on my list. I excluded, as I said, Georgia, Alabama, Florida from this list, or Florida would have been far and away number 1. I also considered putting Vanderbilt, but I really don't think about them very often.
Right.
It's only when we lose to them and then they act like they
Kind of a waste of your time to have to hate Vanderbilt.
Correct.
Okay.
But Kentucky fans, they're really acting now like they are a perennial college football power.
Yeah.
They believe it.
Now, listen. They have been better than you guys as a program for the last 5 or 6 years, and you guys won't admit it.
They've
But
had some good teams.
But they're
They
good.
have to lose to us
Their
every year.
good teams are a little bit like if you look for their good wins.
They also, yes, they beat nobody.
If you look for their good wins, they don't have a lot of good
They
wins.
beat no one.
Like last year, they went 10-3, but when they got on the field with a good team, it wasn't happening. We beat the shit out of them,
yeah, so they also Mississippi State,
Yeah.
Georgia killed them.
and you guys beat them in a shootout.
Yeah.
They don't, and they've feasted on a down East. They feasted on down Florida, down Tennessee, down Carolina,
Missouri.
and Missouri existing. I don't know, man. I like good for them. They're achieving more than they've ever achieved. Their fans are acting like they've been good for 40 years.
They also think Will Levis is legitimately going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Let me go. I should have had his stats pulled up.
Buddy.
Buddy,
Let me tell you
This
something.
audience has
Look
heard
at me.
them.
Look at me.
Have the Roughnecks heard?
Buddy.
They've been informed.
He led the SEC in one category. You know what it was?
Probably picks.
Interceptions with 13, despite being 6 in attempts. He had 8 SEC games. How many times did he throw for more than 200 yards?
I'm going to go with 3.
I didn't say 300 yards. I said 200 yards, which is
4.
1.
Yeah, I mean, he's
One
not good.
one time in 8 games, he threw for more than 200 yards. 200 yards is not a good game. It's not.
No.
He threw for more than 200 yards once, and that was against you guys in a shootout. He threw for like 340
against
that
the
day.
of
poorest Swiss
And he
cheese
lost that
defense,
game.
And they
Yeah.
lost.
Speaking of bad quarterback seasons, last week, the most outrageous thing that Josh Pray said about Florida was Anthony Richardson going to be a top quarterback in the country this year.
Yeah.
And then we said, how many yards is he going to throw for?
He threw 1,200.
1,200 yards
Right,
he'll
yeah,
throw for.
yeah.
But what?
Yeah, he could have 1,200 yards in September.
That's
I
not
would
a top
hope-
quarterback on a team.
No, that
would
would be a top quarterback at the end of September. C.J. Stroud's going to have 2,000 yards by October.
I hope he has 1,200 against non-conference opponents.
Yeah, like this. Especially, he plays first 4 games, 300 yards a game. That's 1,200.
Yeah.
And I assume if he's good, he can hit
He'll
that.
get that. Anyways, Will Levis has been the Will Levis. We may be Will Levis hater podcast. Not me.
I love that.
He's from Connecticut.
Oh,
I think Kentucky fans
follows me on TikTok.
I don't
too. He's my boy.
I don't think Kentucky fans came out of the season thinking Will Levis is great, but then they got told that he was great and they liked the attention.
The mock draft community.
The same outlet that said last year Emory Jones was going to be a top 5 pick said Will Levis is going to be number 1 overall. And
Pro
they
Football
took that
Focus
as a fact.
Yeah, like that's not a fact. Like
the Emory Jones love. Oh man. I really bought into it because he looks great coming off that bus, but geez.
I wonder if there's one a year. Is there one a year that people get wrong? Like,
that'd be a great thing to
Did
look back
Felipe
on.
Franks get love? Did Kellen Mond get love? I feel like they got like
Felipe Franks is actually a fairly solid player in the NFL now. He's playing tight end.
Yeah, but as a quarterback, no. So Levis. Now that's Kentucky. They're hateable. Who's your next one?
Number 2, team we have discussed on this show already, Clemson. More specifically, their coach, who you and I have discussed many times, is the fraudest of the frauds. A truly despicable human being who lures these kids in with this preacher fake act. Oh, I love Jesus. We're going to get your son ready for, life after football and get an education.
Right.
And is just the most worthless piece of shit. I hate him. I genuinely I think he's a very bad person.
He is a very good coach.
Yes,
he is
great at his job.
And he is a savage when it comes to getting players, and he recruits savages. And when he shows up to recruit your son, it's because your son is 6'4", 250, and runs a 4.4. He doesn't give a shit if he goes to church, okay? He runs a cult. He is phony, but he wins. And frankly, I think pretty much 80% of college coaches are frauds and phonies. I think
possibly.
I think it's a fraud and phony business, but you got to put a public face on it.
He's also a liar. He said he'd quit his job if kids ever got paid.
Right, they're getting paid and he's still working.
I'm not going to be the one to make the leap, but a reasonable person could say you don't like a lot of young African Americans making money while you make $6 million a year. That seems problematic to me.
He's been on macrodosing for too long.
Seems problematic to me.
2019, way too early mock draft. Clayton Thorson, 14th.
Yes, thank you.
And this is on Bleacher Report with Matt Miller. So
Clayton
Thorson,
Northwestern legend. All right, your third, please.
A team that you also said on this show you don't really hate that much, Notre Dame. And I hate them for...
Jake Fromm, number 4.
Yep.
2020, way too early mock draft.
Gross. I hate Notre Dame for a very specific reason. None of their fans went to Notre Dame. None of them are from Indiana.
Yeah.
They go to Mass twice a year.
I don't mind the Indiana thing because they're a national team. That's fine. There's not really a lot of those, but I could see where the not going to the school would bother some people.
Wait, what?
Also, what percentage?
A lot of Christian and Catholic hate from you today.
Yeah, really.
Surprising, because
No.
you're a brother in arms with me. I
Absolutely,
thought.
yes.
Like a
More Protestant, but yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I get all but
Hey,
overall,
Jack, facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, that's a really this is a Daily Wire podcast now.
But here's the other thing. Not even if you didn't go there. There are plenty of fans who didn't go to the school that they like. That's fine. What percentage of Notre Dame fans could get into Notre Dame if they wanted to?
I think that exists a lot of places.
Yeah,
I do
Duke and
too.
I think Michigan, Georgia, Texas, I think that exists a lot of places.
Think about Duke for
it's
basketball.
pretty low.
Yeah. No, of course it's pretty low.
Well, I mean, their acceptance rate as a whole is incredibly low.
I mean, hell, Alabama's percentage of fans isn't very high, and all you got to do is color a book to get in there. So, it's not. It is what it is.
Think about Arkansas.
I also think I try not to. I think people's perception of Notre Dame is rooted in this idea that's wrong, that they're always overrated, that they're always this. I think they're fine.
They're a good team, usually.
I think they're fine, and people just have these weird narratives. People get weird about Notre Dame.
Really weird.
Yeah.
Hatred.
I don't know why they I think it's old style hatred. I don't know. I've never had it, so.
And then they beat us in the Super Regional this year.
There
so
we
I hate
go.
them even more.
Okay,
that was
fair.
terrific. That was fantastic. Although, if you remember, you probably weren't looking at Twitter because you were sad. The second they won, I was like, this is funny, but now Ole Miss is going to win the national title, and it sucks. And that's exactly
I actually
what
have
happened.
a video I'll show to you after the show. After we lost game 1, I was in Knoxville, and we got into the Uber, and it was the weirdest Uber driver I've ever had in my life. She was just going on about how much she loved the Muppets. And I filmed myself. I'm like, I'm just in hell right now. We're about to lose this super regional. This woman is just going on about the Muppets. It was horrible. Number 4 on my list, a team that I dislike for fairly similar reasons.
I didn't know you hated this team.
To Notre Dame is Miami. Miami is what people, like you just said, say about Notre Dame, but it's actually true about Miami. Like they have sucked for a prolonged period of time now.
Nearly 2 decades.
They play in an NFL stadium that is, let's call it a quarter full. Let's be liberal and say they fill it 25% of the way for most of their home games. I don't like them. I don't like pretending that they're still like a really important national brand.
But the thing about them, and it's kind of true with you guys to a point, although I like to mess with you, there are certain programs with the resources and the ability and the things around them that they're never far from competing. Like Miami's never 3 years away from, never more than 3 years away from winning a national title. Ever.
They are, though.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they're on the level with the teams you're talking about.
I think they are.
Tennessee, Texas,
I think they're
programs like that.
They're a Big T. They're a much better program than Tennessee.
Are they?
Yeah, and
I'm talking about
just
not in terms of on the
the
field.
80s and 2000s showed what they can be.
Right, but
They've
college
got-
football is so different now.
I don't know that it is. Like Alabama, Ohio State, the same teams that were great back then are great now, with the exception of teams like Nebraska and Tennessee that have kept their eye off the ball. But like Michigan, still like there isn't that much different.
Like we'll see how NIL changes it, which I think is going to make. I think it's going to help Tennessee tremendously, but programs
I think
like
it's
that,
crazy you hate Miami. That's just a weird hate.
I don't like them. I can't even really point to what it is.
Miami is
they're irrelevant to me.
Mi-
Like I don't see them as a Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, USC.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't see them on that list, and I think people still pretend that they are.
Age-wise, they hit me at such a – like they dominated the 80s when I was coming up, and then they dominated the early 2000s when I was in college. Like they hit me at 2 prime times of life. So I always have an appreciation for Miami. I always think college football is better when they're good. They're hateable when they're good too. That's another thing. When they're really good, they want to be hateable.
Yeah.
So
I think it's also part of the fact that they don't really have many fans. Like nobody goes to their games.
yeah.
No, and we still pretend that they're. I don't like them.
All right. Who's your last one?
So 5th on my list, you thought it was Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's just the group of 5.
It's the entire group of 5.
What?
We don't need them. I don't want them.
Yeah. Did you see the story came out that we might be heading towards that? Like,
Yes, and I think it's awesome. I think it's good to get them out of the NCAA tournament.
Did you blog
too.
that?
No.
Yeah. So the story came out that
NCAA tournament for what?
basketball.
They're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about
All
getting
right.
rid of all the. I love it.
Wait, so
That's the worst idea ever. That's
what
no.
about the Big
Fuck that
East?
idea.
Only the big boys. No more directional schools.
what about Big East?
Yeah, that's.
So how
that's a
great was it?
powerhouse
How
basketball.
great was it to see St. Peter's beat Kentucky this year?
It was, but I would, the tournament is presently constituted, I like seeing that. I would rather see a tournament with all the big teams.
No,
People like that.
I love seeing
don't
Mercer
care.
beat. When Mercer beat Duke, it was so goddamn funny. Like when fucking number 1 Virginia got beat by UMBC, like that. Don't take away from the NCAA tournament. Take them out of football, fine.
I want to say before, I'm mostly joking about that. I do enjoy the NCAA tournament. I just kind of wanted to lean into this take.
Sure,
But
that's fine.
but I do genuinely. It was Colin Cowherd who famously said, "Middle Tennessee, who needs them?" Right on, brother. Take MTSU and launch it into the sun for all I give a shit.
Well, I think we are in an age of awakening where the 65 Power 5 teams are looking around saying, we can do this ourselves.
We
can keep all the money.
I would like to shrink the Power 5.
No, I don't.
Vanderbilt,
Be careful now.
See ya.
No, be careful. I'd rather, as a team, as a fan of a team that could be on the margins.
No, you're not on the margins.
Oh, we're on the margins.
No.
We're on the margins.
Elite baseball program.
Doesn't matter.
No SEC team outside of Vanderbilt is on the margins.
I don't think you guys are.
All right, but you know what? And we also have our president is like a key figure in this whole thing.
Helps a lot.
Our president is like driving the ship.
Think about it. You guys have had, relatively speaking, over the past decade.
Oh, we've been good, yeah.
A top probably 8 upper half football program within the SEC.
Yeah, it's been good.
But take Akron, UMass,
Dude,
all those schools.
Dude, why'd you just have to say both those teams together?
It was the first.
No, that's fucked up.
To be honest with you,
Akron and UMass.
To be honest,
dude.
I was thinking about watching
bring
a
you on-
game between group of 5 teams.
We bring
and
you
that
on-
was the one
Akron
that
and
I-
UMass, the Big
and that
Two.
was the game.
That's the Big
Because
Two.
you know why? Because nobody watches the group of 5, and that's the one group of 5 game I've watched in a long
You said
time.
Akron, UMass.
Just set them right back to back. Right back to back. Worst day of Jack's life.
Worst day of Jack's life, worst day of all of our lives.
Blackjack Fletcher's still recovering.
Blackjack has not
Shout out Fletch.
financially recovered.
He's crying into Papelbon's shoulder right now.
Yeah. Shout out Fletch, though. I appreciate you not literally killing me that day.
So that's my 5 /
That's an interesting 5. I wouldn't.
Obviously, it would have been different. You said don't put your rivals. So.
Yeah.
If I had to say my non-rivals that I hate, I hate Georgia.
Oh, they're the worst.
They're assholes, and
Yeah.
they if you don't act like they are Alabama times 10, you're disrespecting them. They have told me their offense is going to be elite this year with that quarterback. With elite, they say we have the best tight ends in the country. If you got the best tight ends in the country,
They do.
fine. That's a luxury item. That's not a part of your engine.
But they use them as a big part of their.
Brock Bowers, yeah, but they will tell me Eric Gilbert's part of that. We don't know if Eric Gilbert's going to play a snap.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody's gotten anything out of that guy ever. I can't treat him like he's a star player. You can treat him like that. You can
Trivia
suck his dick
question.
if you want.
Who was his high school quarterback?
Former
savior of Tennessee football.
Oh, Harrison Bailey?
Uh-huh.
Well, you guys moved off of him quick.
Bailey.
I think he's at UNLV.
You guys moved off of him quick.
Well, because we found a Heisman candidate.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he is.
He's pretty good.
Well, he's goated.
He still had weird.
Is Milton still at the school?
Yeah,
I've
he
heard.
is, right?
I've heard Milton is playing very well in practice, which is what he did last year. I will say I respect the hell out of Joe Milton because he could have transferred and gone and played somewhere else, and he chose to stay at UT. And
Remember when
he's a VFL.
he's a VFL.
Okay.
Remember when it was 3 seconds left against Ole Miss and at the
Okay.
25-yard line, Joe Milton ran out of bounds?
Yes, I do. Do you also remember the play before that where he threw a dime that
did.
probably should have been caught for the game-winning touchdown?
But all I think about Joe Milton is that man threw balls.
Listen, you can't
100
knock
yards.
his arm strength.
But they were always 20 yards over the
He's
guy's
going to
head.
get a shot in the NFL, I guarantee it.
I
He
said,
does look great coming off a bus.
I met him this summer, and he is startling in person. I mean, just
Hendon was a big guy, but it's like, oh, this guy's a quarterback.
Hendon's a big dude. Joe is, I mean, just a brick shit house.
I think that might be a Southern thing they don't say.
Really?
Brick shit house.
No, I've
yeah.
heard that.
No, I mean,
Oh, you
you
have?
are
Okay.
you are stacked.
Specifically about a
Built like a brick
football
shit
player.
house, yeah.
Yeah. Probably heard it from Southern people.
Roughnecks. Other than your rival, name the college football team, program, or coach you hate the most. The best responses will be read on tonight's show. Some people quote tweeted one, so I don't think they should count because we said reply.
Yeah, we didn't say quote tweet.
Yeah. So Paul Phillips says, "I'm an ECU NC State fan." Boy, that guy's gonna have a tough Saturday
first
coming up.
one, yeah.
That'll be a good game.
I think it's such a dumb scheduling move by NC State, although they didn't do it on purpose.
It's dumb, but it's fun.
It is fun. I do.
Dude,
Hey, brother, I thought you wanted to. No, you can't say it's fun while trying to kill us.
Dude, if you were
Teams like that will move into the big conferences like Houston.
ECU NC State fan,
You think we. Am I getting a call?
hey boy,
I don't think so.
ECU NC State fan, but oh my God, I'm so tired of Vanderbilt being able to say they're a Power 5
Amen,
program.
brother.
I might be the only Vandy football hater on the planet, but damn,
You're
just
not.
send them to FCS already.
Get them out. Get them out of here.
David Michelson, OU. I hate the Boomer Sooner song they play after every offensive play they run. Whether it gains 1 yard or 60, they play the song. If I have to watch another OU game, I watch it muted, just so I don't have to hear it and figure out how to safely drive a covered wagon. Is 2022.
That's a fair complaint, but they are the nicest fans that I ever came across that came to Neyland Stadium.
And that was such a
Good.
great game.
Yeah, you know why?
people.
You know why?
Don't say something stupid after they were down
No,
17
because
to
they
nothing.
lost.
Yeah, because
No, before the game.
yeah, but they knew
They knew
were.
they were going to kick our ass.
Yeah.
They were down 17 to nothing. And
No,
if
they
we had
knew they were
any
gonna
coach
win.
in the
They
country
knew-
other than Butch Jones,
No,
they would have gotten their
that's the
shit
truth.
pushed in.
If they were coming there and it was a highly contested top 10 game, or if they thought they were
It
going to lose,
was.
they were going to be assholes.
It was a top 25
I didn't
match.
say it was or
the
it
game of the
wasn't.
week.
They won. Then they were nice.
They were nice beforehand. They were good people.
Because they knew they were going to fucking win.
No, they didn't.
And you must not spend a lot of time on Twitter if you think Oklahoma fans are nice. Lincoln Riley broke them. Broke them.
That's true. That's true.
Broke them.
Before that.
That's
Cleveland Beb says Iowa fans demand and crave attention more than any serviceable program in the nation. Preach, brother. Hawkeyes haven't won the conference since 2004 and not outright since 1985. Preach. 2 division titles in 10 years, 1 blowout win over Ohio State doesn't make you relevant.
Okay.
That sounded personal for you.
He didn't write it.
I didn't write it.
No, but I'm saying he
These are fans of the podcast.
I know that.
Stu, Bills Mafia Logic says, I'm a Buckeyes fan. I hate Penn State. You didn't invent the color white.
Saw y'all talking about that.
People are mad about that one.
Stephen O'Grodnick, Alabama. I think if Saban and that machine he has created didn't exist, OSU would have a couple more national titles. Yeah,
well,
you would.
Yeah.
You would. But Trevor Taroni says, Penn State. Every year they think they're going 12-0, and they're one of the best programs ever. But they always fall back down to 7-5 and blame it on everything else except their own players and staff.
I only know one Penn State fan, and he seems very reasonable.
You know two just in the office.
Ron
and Jeff
What about
Yellow.
Devin?
Okay.
You know
I was
Devin.
talking about Jeff, but yeah.
Let's see. Matthew, Miami. My grandfather passed away the night before ND Miami 2017, and then that debacle happened. Since then, I've hated the U and Brandon Wimbush.
Oh, that took a turn.
It did.
Sorry about your grandpa.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Ivan Canfield. I don't hate Minnesota, but I definitely hate PJ Fleck.
Good take. I should have thought of that.
I like direct coach hate.
I should have put Butch Jones on my list, honestly.
He's the best coach you've had in the last 10 years.
No, he had the best teams.
Well, that's called coaching.
He got some really good players in there and then didn't develop.
Remember when you
all.
guys had maybe one of the best plays the last 10 years, Josh Jobs to Juwan Jennings, and he just
one of the best days of my
and
life,
he just ran and collapsed like you had just
he was a clown.
Like he had just his grandkids were just born. Like it was just a weird reaction.
He was a clown. Is a clown still.
Coach Buckle, anyone in SEC fan bases, every year Florida and Tennessee fans think they're winning 10 games, and when they don't, they say they're in a rebuilding year. What? Well, if they don't win 10 games, they are in a rebuilding year. Nobody wants to be in a rebuilding year, but if you win 5 games, you're trying to build something. That was a weird one. Let's see. Beers and Taco hates the whole SEC. You can suck on Buck.
Makes sense. I
like this one because
hate us 'cause they
this is
hate
a
us.
team I hated. There's no reason to hate them anymore, but I believe exactly what he says. B. Garbo says, it used to be fraud Boise State. They were so fraudulent. They had that one big win over a bad Oklahoma team, and then Kellen Moore was throwing against Wyoming all the time. I hated that Boise State team. I did not like when Boise State was good.
You know, what other BCS games are they playing?
I hate UCF.
Well, UCF is probably the best G5 teams we've seen in the recent memory outside of Cincinnati last year.
No, that one Houston team that should have gone undefeated and would have been in the playoff and lost to, I think, Navy or something, or Memphis.
Louisville.
No, they beat them. They beat like a top 10 Louisville team, and they beat Oklahoma. And had they gone undefeated, they would have been in the playoff easy.
They also lost to UConn that year.
B. Garbo says, used to be fraud Boise State, but now I'm going to say every SEC team not named Bama, Georgia, and LSU because they live off others' accomplishments to feel better about their mid-teams. That's such a myth.
It's
That's
not
such
true at all.
That's such a myth. We hate them motherfuckers. It's not us in the fucking stadium chanting SEC when they win a national title. It's Alabama fans. Like, I hate them. I want them to fucking die. I am so fucking sick of Saban. I'm so sick of Georgia. Like, no, I don't root for. I was rooting so hard last year. I think I was rooting for. Of course, it was Alabama, Georgia. But when it was Clemson and Bama the first time, and then the second time, when Clemson beat Alabama 44-18,
beat the shit out of them.
I was so happy. God damn it, I was such a big Clemson fan that day.
I want Alabama, Georgia, and Florida to lose every game they play. I hate when people say that shit because it's so dumb and it's so not true.
Honestly, never really thought I would say this as Kyle, but over the past few months, Georgia is exponentially climbing that ladder. Very insecure fans for a team that just won the national title. That's preach.
They've always been that bad, but now it's been exposed to a national audience as opposed to
like
just national.
I don't know if they act like we're supposed to kiss the ring now. It's really weird.
Yes, and I do hate it because now the one thing that everybody had on them is gone.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Let's see. Boomer Sooner says Eli Drinkwitz. He just seems like a loser.
He is. You saw what he did recently on the Jim Rome show?
No.
what?
Oh, Jim Rome had him on. I didn't even know Jim Rome still had a show.
He does, yeah.
He had Drinkwitz on, and it was the day after like the Tennessee allegations or notice of allegations came out, which was like nothing really. And he acted like that. He was like, "Oh, we're going to get a couple wins back. Like you're bragging that you lost to Jeremy
You're going to get some
Pruitt,
vacated wins.
to some of the worst Tennessee teams ever." And he's like, "Maybe I need to get my wife involved." Like he's just a very weird.
By
guy.
the way, Jim Rome is like top 5 in salary in the country.
Yeah.
Like I saw a
Really?
media site like Colin Coward, Jim Rome, Charles Barkley. Like if you look at the top 5
Really?
top 5 highest paid media
Jim
guys,
Rome has a syndicated
Jim
radio
Rome
show
makes like
across the
$70
country.
million a year.
American.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know where people are listening to him. I don't know what, but God bless him because he figured
This
it out.
says he makes $30 million.
$30 million.
a year.
$30 million a year. Yeah. He makes bank, and I don't know who's listening to him.
I didn't even know he still had a show.
Let's see. Mile High says it's Hale State, Colorado. Texas A&M. They are the cultiest university in the country. Weird ass chants with dude cheerleaders wearing milkman outfits.
Yep.
Not to mention they do the least with the most.
Okay.
Cottonwood Joey. I hate Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Missouri, Nebraska, and Colorado equally. Not that they have any correlation. I just hate them. All right.
Okay.
Just Posa. Purdue. West Lafayette sucks. They've been largely irrelevant nationally for God knows how long. They'll find a way to ruin your season no matter their record.
Oh, he's a Michigan State fan, so I think.
Is he?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Jared Thompson. Notre Dame, and it's not even close. National bias and TV viewership puts them in the top 10 year after year, and every year they fall flat on their face. But they don't.
They don't like.
They don't.
Also,
Last year they finished number 5.
It's like they fall. Yeah, they fall flat on their face in the playoff. It's like, oh, that's so bad. It's like,
Okay, so why don't we say the same thing about Oklahoma?
yeah, it's like he can't pull a 10 out of 10, but man, he's fucking every 9 out of 10.
Missouri, they are the most average school in athletics and academics, but everybody in Missouri thinks they're going 9-3, 10-2. I wish people would stop saying that. Every fan base thinks they're going to go this
Yeah,
or
why?
that. Yeah.
If you're
Do Missouri fans think that?
Also, I'm kind of tired of pretending
Do
like
you
Missouri
know any
belongs.
Mizzou fans? Do you know any?
My dad.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
I've never knew.
He's
that.
from St. Louis.
I work with a guy at SEC Country, a big Mizzou fan.
Okay, that would make sense. But look, I'm not saying Mizzou doesn't have fans. I just don't know any.
They don't, but you know what the weird thing about them is? If you ask them who their big rival in the SEC is, they say Tennessee.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like, I guess because we
I mean,
play
y'all,
every...
to the outsiders, you are the most hateable
But
one.
they're like, no,
I'm serious.
They're
That-
like our big SEC game is Tennessee.
And they got matched up with Arkansas as a rival, and that doesn't work.
I guess because they were in like the Big 8 or whatever.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Who cares? When Missouri Arkansas played, do you?
No.
Yeah. Sports Talk
border
Paul.
game.
As a Cincy fan, I can't stand fighting with UCF fans about who was better, 2017 UCF or 2021 Cincy. Bill Conley has 2021 Cincy better by about a touchdown, but what bothers me is they don't acknowledge that UCF team didn't reschedule Georgia Tech and lacked a playoff resume. They don't shut up.
Great point.
That is a great point.
Georgia Tech offered to
Yeah.
play them in Atlanta. They
Yeah.
said we'll go back later, and they were like, no, we won't do it.
Yeah, just wouldn't do it.
And that was before Georgia Tech like fell off a cliff.
Yeah, Georgia Tech was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boinger says no conference Notre Dame, most overrated program in college sports bar none, probably ranked in the preseason top 10 yet again, and we'll get another undeserving bowl bid. This is just a more lazy shit that I just. Andy Arb, Miami fan, easily Ohio State. I cannot forget the 2002 national title. Joe says his most hated coach is Red. I don't know. I remember how to say it. Red Beaulieu. Red Beaulieu.
I have no idea who this is.
Red Beaulieu was the coach of University of Louisiana.
I have no.
You ever seen The Waterboy?
I have.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Coach Beaulieu was the evil
Got it.
coach in The Waterboy.
Got it.
Waterboy is one of those movies. When I saw it, I thought it's funny, and then I tried to rewatch it when I got the DVD, and
Doesn't hold
it
up.
just didn't work. It's just so
Waterboy didn't hold up for you?
Waterboy is just so bad. The Big Ten, all of it. Ted Boy. Let's see. Tom Osborne, Justin MZ. Is it really a point to still hate Tom Osborne?
No.
It's like
that's
30 years past.
that's
I
a
was gonna
while.
say,
I'm
how old is
surprised.
that
I'm
guy?
surprised he's on Twitter.
Chris Bond says Ohio State is so full of themselves. They also don't exactly get model citizens on the team. The fans, the
Okay.
players, the authority figures are all morally corrupt. That's good hate. But every team gets some players that
Yeah,
you're not going to
playing
want to do a
that-
moral test.
You can only really do that with like older Florida teams.
Let's
Urban
see.
Meyer.
Tyler Collins hates Ryan Day. He was born on third base. B. Bliss hates Duke basketball. They turn cheating into a science. Somehow I will allow that.
Wrong sport, but fair.
Yeah, I will allow that. All right.
Yeah, we literally said college football teams
Yeah.
or coaches, and he said, nah, Duke basketball.
In fairness, those are also Alabama football fans, so it,
Correct,
it
that's
does
right.
have a
Yeah.
correlation.
Well, some have migrated to Georgia. Alex Chisholm, Georgia. The only experiences I have with them are when they lost to Texas in the Sugar Bowl, which made them feel themselves for the entire next offseason, which was insufferable. And then when we played them in 2019, they got saved by so many bad calls. Also, Kirby Smart's hair.
Kirby Smart sucks.
I don't mind him.
I hate him so much.
Let's see. Paige Browning hates Cal. They have so much money and potential, and they waste it all.
Well, that just sounds like TCU.
I guarantee you, most of their students could find boron on the periodic table and recite pi, but they have no clue what time their kickoff is or who their quarterback even is.
Does
Whoa.
Cal have a lot of money in terms of athletics?
I don't. They probably have a big
Their
endowment. I
school,
think.
yeah, I mean, so does
I
Vanderbilt.
think they're like women's history department has a lot of money, but
yeah.
Let's see.
I would actually argue the larger the endowment of your school is, probably the worse your athletic department is.
Daniel Corrigan says, "I'm so tired of acting like Texas A&M is anything but an 8-9 win program." Fine, preach.
yeah.
Let's see. Oklahoma fan, Notre Dame. They did it 40 years before I was born, but I hate Notre Dame for being responsible for ending the winning streak. That's good hate. That winning streak was in the 50s. That's good hate. And you never saw it.
And because you know that's passed down. His dad and
Yep.
his grandfather.
Oh, y'all want
hate
to hear some good nicknames? FF Data King says, Northwestern fan, I hate puke and Notre shame.
Love it.
Recently, they've had our number, and they think they rank higher academically. It's disgusting, and they're wrong. ND fans are like your Bama fans, but they're in customer service cubicles, not AutoZone stores.
Damn, go off.
All right. And there goes my voice. Let me just see if I can get... I hate that rat Krzyzewski.
Damn.
He's not even coaching anymore.
Let's see.
Until he does.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
John Shire's going to have an illness for their game against.
John Shire's going to get COVID and Coach
Alcorn
Kayce.
State
Yeah.
or whoever. Yeah.
And he'll come a whole waddle in.
Yeah.
Let's see. I hate Miami mostly because Brandon won't shut up about their non-existent brand in college football. I'm not a Texas fan, but I'm more open to accept their brand just because it's closer in time. Miami has locations and riches. There's no reason they aren't top 10 every year. Okay, they're going 10-2 this year, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Who do they play?
Texas
They play an
A&M.
ACC schedule. They play at A&M, at Clemson. Those are two tough games. They have the best quarterback in the ACC, and they brought in some terrific defensive transfers. They brought in Kevin Steele for defensive coordinator instead of fucking Manny Diaz. They brought in Josh Gaddis to run the offense.
Tennessee head coach Kevin Steele.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
was that him?
What?
Who am I thinking of?
Yes.
He was.
Kevin Steele was the guy you almost hired from
No,
Auburn.
we did hire him, and then we got rid of him, right?
How many
No,
times
you
have you
didn't
done
hire-
that? That was Greg Schiano. How many times have you done that?
No. So they let Pruitt hire Kevin Steele and pay him like $1 million a year,
Yes.
and then they fired Pruitt a week later, and then I think Kevin Steele was technically our interim head coach
Yes.
until we hired Pruitt.
That would make sense.
I'm a PSU fan, says Triple D. I hate OU. I hate Oklahoma. The Big Ten gets made fun of for lack of playoff success. At least OSU won one. Oklahoma is the most overhyped program every year, playing in the Mickey Mouse defensive conference, running up the stats to get Heisman's, only to get demolished in the college football playoff. P.S. Texas is back.
All right. That's perfect to end on.
Okay, thanks, because my voice is shot.
Yep.
My name is Brandon Walker. Kayce and Katie will be back as we preview the season next week. Thank you to Big T. I can always depend on him for some good old-fashioned hate. Jack, that is unnecessary roughness.